Scripture says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. Knocking at the door of the church, knocking at the door of your family, knocking at your door. Why doesn't he just push the door open and come in and save me? He never interferes with your will. You have a will of your own. That's the way he made you. He made you in his image. You can reject him. You can go to your grave rejecting Christ, and there's nothing God can do about it. He'll do everything in his power to warn you. He'll do everything in his power to bring incidents across your path to stop you. But he won't trespass on your will.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect preaching this word in truth and sincerity, and to you ribs, and to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom. Right, as you saw in the video, this man's talking about free will, and the Lord won't get in the way of your will. And the reason why I'm actually even making this video is because I had ran into, well, I didn't run into, but I was at a coffee shop, just minding my own business, and these two Christians sat at my table, basically invited themselves to my table and asked me if they could ask me a few questions randomly. And, I let them ask the question, and long story short, the conversation went into free will. And, this is shared with a lot of Christians, I would say, besides Calvinists that I know of. But the scriptures clearly say, that it is the Lord's movie, man. Like, this is real easy to determine. For this kind of conversation, I always would say that Romans 9 is just a slam dunk on this topic, right? But you would also need one or two more witnesses just to drive the point home, right? But if you really read the ninth chapter of the book of Romans, and really read it more than once, you will start to begin to understand that it's real simple, man. Like, the questions on Romans 9 are the same questions that anybody else would ask. Matter of fact, let's go there. Let's see here, Romans 9. I'm going to jump around in Romans 9, right? Starting at verse 11. It says, for the children being not yet born, right? This is before they hit the earth, neither have done good or evil. There's nothing that they did, that the purpose of God according to election, right? To be elected means to be chosen for a purpose, right? Whatever that purpose is, you were predestined for that purpose before you was even born, right? It says, according to election might stand, not of works, right? It's nothing that you could do, but of him that calleth, right? Him that puts out the word and makes things happen, right? It was said unto the elder that the elder shall serve the younger, right? This is predestined, meaning that usually the order of things would be that the elder shall rule, and have all the promises, right? But before they were born, they didn't do nothing about it, but this was the order in which they were predestined to have, right? And this is the reason why Romans 13 is important, because they have not done any good or evil to deserve this, right? It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, right? He hated him before he was even born, right? He was made to be hated, right? And now verse 15, well, Salakia, I like verse 14 as well. It says, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid, right? Because to say to somebody, hey, man, why did you make me if you were going to hate me, right? Why? What was the point of you making me if I was being made to be hated, right? And I always bring up this example, right? Because it brings it back home to where we could understand, right? Because the scriptures say that my thoughts are not your thoughts and my thoughts are higher than yours, right? Paraphrasing how the Lord feels about how we think compared to us, how he thinks, right? So the best way for somebody who understands this is to basically, I would say, I don't want to use the word dumb it down, but, make it much more easier to understand, right? If I was the creator of G.I. Joes, right? Which these are action figures that kids play with, right? Military type of action figures. And let's say I decided to, I created 4 of them, right? I made them from nothing. I designed them. I colored them. I gave them their outfits, everything. I did everything, right? And I gave them an intelligent voice and a thought process, right? And I decided one's going to be a villain, right? The other one's going to be this, that, and the third, right? I decided to burn one. I decided to put one in the toilet. I decided to bury one. And I decided to put one of them in a encased pedestal hanging up against the wall, right? And they could all come alive and they could answer me and say, hey, man, you threw me in the dirt. Well, why did you do that? Or the guy in the toilet would say, hey, man, you made me, and now you decide to throw me in the toilet. Why is that? What's the point of making me? And the one I set on fire in agony and pain would say, hey, man, I'm in pain. Why would you make me to just be tormented like this? What's the point? Just end me, right? What would the Lord say in that point, right? What would he say? Verse 15, for he has said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, right? Not the man, nor of him that runneth, right? Things that he does, no. But of God that showeth mercy, right? The Lord's the one that puts this G.I. Joe on a pedestal, right? One that gets burnt, one that gets, so on and so forth, right? Verse 17, for the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this purpose have I raised thee up, right? The Lord raised Pharaoh up so his name could be declared, right? It says here, right? It says, I raised thee up that I might show my power in thee and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth, right? So the reason why Pharaoh was made great was to show the Lord's power. The Lord's the one that set up kings, right? Pharaoh didn't do nothing on his own, right? It says 18, therefore has he had mercy on whom he will have mercy and who he would harden, right? That's very important. That word harden, right, means that this person was made to be hard-headed, right? Because he was stubborn and did not let Israel go, right? He would have, the Lord would have saved him if he would have let Israel go, but the Lord made him not let Israel go, and in turn then killed his firstborn, right, and his whole village firstborn and their cattle, right? Over the Lord made him do these things, right? Where's the free will in that? Right? It says, verse 19, though thou wilt say then unto me, why does he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? Nobody has. Because you cannot resist his will. You see? The Lord hardens your heart. That it is what it is, man. You can't get out of it. It says, verse 20, nay, O man, who art thou that replies against God, right? And if those G.I. Joes will speak back and say, why did you make me this? What's the point? And the Lord will say, But, O man, who art thou that repliest against God? Shall a thing formed it say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Right? What would you say? Like, why would you ask me that? I do what I want, right? It says, verse 21, has not the power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? See, these are the G.I. Joes. One that's put in a toilet and the other one gets put in a pedestal, and they come alive and they say, why would you make me like this? He said, I get to decide where you go. I get to decide what I do with you. Verse 22, what if God wanted to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath, right? Which is people. Vessels are people, right? And this vessel of wrath was fitted for what? To destruction, meaning that this person was created for the wrath of destruction, right? Verse 23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory unto the vessels of mercy, right? This is the vessel or the G.I. Joe that's in a pedestal, hanging up on a wall, draped in gold, so everybody could see who his favorite is, right? It says, and that he might make known the riches of his glory unto the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory, right? It says, afore means before, which he had before prepared unto glory, meaning before he was born, he was made to go on that pedestal. He was designed for that. See, nothing he could do to get out of that. It says, verse 24, even us, whom he has called, not of the Jews only, but of also the Gentiles. And he said unto Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which are not my beloved. Right, and then this goes into, the northern kingdom being adopted, right, as we say in the first 2 or 3 verses, how it talks about, the covenants and things of that nature. But we're talking about free will here, that there's nothing that Israel could have done because the promises were given to Abraham before even the earth was even put together. So this is divine order, right? Simple math, right? So we're gonna get the mouth of a few witnesses here to verify our point. Right, we're going to go to Psalm 68. This is Psalm 68:11. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai gave the word, right? Which is Yahushai. The word is Yahushai. He created Yahushai, right? It says, great was the company of those that published it. You see, Yahweh created Yahushai. He gave him the word. Then Yahushai created the angels and the elect, and they together created the earth, as was instructed to Yahushai through Yahweh. Simple, man. Published, meaning it was put down, right? It was written, it was said, it was in order, and it was already written for us. We're gonna get straight to the point, man, because what's understood don't gotta be explained, man. If I gotta over-explain, then you're never gonna understand because you weren't made to understand. This is Isaiah 63 and 17. It says, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, why hast thou made us to err? Right? So to err means to go off the path, man. We were created to go off, man. So then that way he could save us, man. So his name could be glorified. Right? O Lord, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways and harden our heart from thy fear? See, the Lord hardened the Israelites' hearts, man, so that for our learning, so we could learn. So when the kingdom comes, we have a story to go back to. Right? It says, return for thy servant's sake the tribes of thy inheritance. So yeah, I'm just showing you that, if we go off and things of that nature, evil things happen around us, the Lord has all power and jurisdiction and authority above all. Right? And I'm going to end it with this scripture here, man, straight to the point. I mean, there's many more, but I don't got to beat a dead horse. If you understand, you understand. If I gotta overstand, then you will never get it. This is verse 29. Oh, Salakia, this is chapter 29, verse 11. And it reads, "For I know that the thoughts that I think towards you, said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." See? To expect an end, meaning that he knows what the end is. He knows your thoughts. Right? All these things are predestined, man. Even the conversations that you have about free will. And that's all I have on this, man. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the whole for elect, preaching this word in truth, sincerity, and to you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom.